What's up, guys? SK423 here, and I have a breakdown of the new Call of Duty World War II. Now, I'm going to break this down into three parts of the game. One, campaign, storytelling. We'll talk about the feel of the play, gameplay aspects, and overall rating and score. Two, we're going to talk about PvP, new features, loadouts, guns, leveling. Give that an overall score, talk about the social features of the game, the new emotes and things like that. And lastly, we're going to talk about the ever-coveted Zombies mode. There are some new features there as well, new loadouts, a brand new feel to the game, and I will give that an overall score as well, adding together and giving you your final Call of Duty review. So, let's get started with the campaign. Now, the campaign for Call of Duty World War II focuses on the actions of a squad from 1944 to 1945. So we're at the end of World War II. We're running into Germany. We're going to take down the Nazis. We're going to fuck shit up on the European front. It's an all good time. You start out at D-Day, which is everybody's favorite place to go when you're getting, MG-42 shot at you nonstop out of a boat. It starts you off as the story of Ronald Red Daniels, a young United States Army private, and him and his squad. Now, for the gameplay, it really takes a trip back down memory lane. The only way to heal yourself now is with health packs. Now, I'm sure you guys remember that from pretty much Call of Duty 4 on, it's been auto-heal. You haven't had to find health packs. You just kind of keep playing, get to cover, regen your health, and then go on continuing to murder your opposing enemies. Now, I like this new feature because I think it adds an element to the campaign to make it a little bit more difficult. You can run to cover to stop taking damage. However, if you don't have any health packs, you now have to take a more stealthy approach to ensure you're taking out your enemies. Otherwise, you're just going to run into a building, have your cover given, and then you're going to go in there with a quarter of your health and get your face blown off, and it's just not going to be a desirable experience for you. First aid kits can be found scattered throughout the battlefield, and also you can pick some up from your inventory, and you also have an ability later on after you have your squad built to have one of your squad members throw you a health kit as soon as you kill a certain number of enemies. It's almost like a super. You also have heroic actions, which are accomplishments you can perform on the battlefield, and each of these heroic actions gets you closer to unlocking those ever-coveted squad abilities. A combat save, which is when you save an allied soldier who is struggling against an Axis soldier, aka Nazis. A medical save, which is to locate a wounded soldier on the battlefield and drag him to safety. Wounded soldiers are indicated by a red cross in safe zones that are highlighted in the HUD. Also, an enemy surrender. At certain points in the story, enemies will admit defeat. Aim down sights at an enemy to force him to give up. Do not shoot surrendered enemies or you will not earn the heroic action. Now, you could probably see this in my play. I do believe that I got to the point where I had that. The dude did not want to surrender. I aimed down sights at him for a solid 30 seconds, and he said, "You know what, Sean? Fuck you. I'm going to blast you away." Then I had to dome him in the head, and I did not get the heroic action. The squad abilities. Zussman. He's the guy that's going to give you your first aid, so he's the guy that you want to hang out with. You want to keep him close by, you want to kill your guys, and you want to ensure that that is a full bar and that you can get those health kits whenever you need. Pearson, he briefly highlights all enemies in the area and allows you to focus with any weapon. So you can use the focus power, and you can see everybody around you with Pearson. It's useful in a stealthy situation, but as far as overall campaign play, it's not really super necessary. Turner and Zussman are going to be the ones you want to go with. Turner carries extra ammo for the weapons you have equipped, including rocket launchers, so when you blast people away and blow up some tanks and fun stuff, you definitely want to have him around. Styles, he carries extra lethal and tactical grenades. They're pretty well scattered around the battlefield, so it's not necessary to necessarily have him, but it can be useful. And Aiello gives you a special smoke signal grenade to use to call an allied mortar fire. That is super nice when you're going against massive waves. And it's also to be noted that not every ability is available on every mission level. You'll know the squad ability is available if you see the squad mate's portrait in the bottom right corner of your HUD. So it'll end up, I'm sure you can see on the screen in the bottom right corner, you can see how those two yellow circles are building up. Those are what give you your abilities, and then we'll give you the prompt and the directional pad to call in that specific person. Also, in every campaign mission, there are 3 mementos. Call of Duty's got to have their collectibles so everybody can feel special and feel important. You collect those, you get you get your coveted 100% completion. It's non-essential, but it's nice to get. It gives you some lore and some history into what happened back during that time period. Overall, I enjoyed playing this campaign. I think it definitely is a return to form for Call of Duty. I think that the play is crisp and clean. I don't think that there's too many issues as far as, you might miss some hit markers. You might have a guy lined up with you, sitting over an MG turret, and you're trying to take him out, and you have him line up for a headshot, and then you shoot it, and then you don't get a hit marker, or you do get a hit marker on a headshot, doesn't kill him. That's just typical little tiny game glitches. Overall, though, I definitely think that the game plays very cleanly. It comes through very, very pure. You don't feel like you're struggling, and it definitely doesn't feel like a reach. It doesn't feel like, Call of Duty's trying to overdo it. They don't feel like they're throwing so much in your face to make you go like, oh my god, this is the absolutely illest game I've ever played in my entire life. They're just like, bro, we're Call of Duty. We constantly deliver you delicious content on a regular basis, and you're going to like what we have to offer you. You definitely develop a relationship with your squad mates. The beginning campaign story, you're on the ship with them, and they're giving you the backstory of everybody and all the cool stuff they used to do, and you're kicking it and making laughs and making jokes. And they bring you back to that throughout the campaign. There's little missions here and there where people get hurt, or you have to save them, or they're lost. You have to find them. It depends on what you're doing, but you definitely feel attached to what they are bringing to the table for you. So for that reason, I definitely think that they become key characters. Nobody's ever going to replace Ghost. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just not going to happen. But it definitely feels like they're trying to establish a character line, possibly to bring into future gameplay. I mean, these guys are young, so they could apply to Vietnam-era games. They could even apply to more higher-ranked people in, Korean War or Iraqi War games. So it just depends on what they want to do. And when I say Iraq War, I mean the first Desert Storm, not the second one. But, it opens up possibilities. I think the DLCs, hopefully, maybe once or twice they could possibly even throw in a campaign DLC. That would be pretty awesome. Just because, I really want to hear more about these guys and the things that they did together and how they built as a platoon. All of that terrific, delicious Call of Duty storytelling that we've become so accustomed to. It is incredibly cinematic, which is just fantastic. That is Call of Duty at its finest. And that is exactly why I would like to rate this campaign as a 7 out of 10. Now, I only gave it a 7. It's a good score. It's just because, there's campaigns like Skyrim and stuff that absolutely blow people away. So I can't give it a 10 out of 10, Now, let's move on to multiplayer. Multiplayer has a new facet, called the Operations Center. So what you can do, or the headquarters. Jesus, I can't talk today. So the headquarters is where you can go and you can get strikes, you can get orders, you can get different aspects of things that you can do to increase your XP, your revenue. The mail gives you a payroll. It's where you get your fun things like your special equipment, your downloads or DLCs, any sort of thing like that. Your friends can actually send you things within the mail, and then you can also go to the quartermaster to get contracts, to get boosted things, to get special edition emblems and call signs and everything like that. So it really is like a social space where you can hang out and just do whatever you want. When you're waiting for that party to go, you can walk around, you can talk to the various people, you can check out your different outfits, you can, walk around and practice your emotes, you can high-five your friends, you can even go in and check people's call cards. There's also a firing range where you can test out that new loadout. So you can equip that loadout, go down to the firing range, equip everything that you want, switch between guns, and give everything a good test go before you go into the multiplayer aspect. I think this is really awesome because if you don't know how a gun's going to work in the field, what's the point in even getting it anyways? Maybe you don't like it and you don't want to spend that prestige token on it. So also you have an option to try out guns in the 1v1. 1v1 is a really fun aspect where you can go in with your friends, go into the 1v1 pit, and you eliminate 2 out of the 3 options that are given to you. And then the one that is left over is what you fight with. Now, you'll see here that my friend and I went with shovels because we are just ridiculous. And then you load in you're in your little pit, and you just you go to battle. The first to 3 wins, or there's also a 60-second timer. Every once in a while, you will have tasks where you have to get, say, 50 kills or 25 wins in a 1v1 scenario. It's a fun aspect. It's definitely a time killer. We were doing this waiting for my buddy to join into the squad, so that way we could go into hardcore team deathmatch. And it's just a fun thing. You can actually watch what's happening from above when you're waiting in the queue. You can see live what the players are doing, which is a pretty cool thing, I thought. And overall, it's just a really, really fun experience, and definitely gets time going. Now, there are certainly aspects of the multiplayer review that I have to go over. The divisions, they make it sound so important, and it's just really not. And what I mean by that is they make you choose a division that you're going to go with, and they make it seem like it's going to be the most important thing that you have to choose. But the thing is, as you continue on, you can unlock every single division, and you can upload, or you can increase the XP within those divisions themselves and get the specific perks. The only thing the division really gives you is when you reach level 4 and you prestige to level 5 within that division, you unlock a weapon that's only available within that division category. So for the mountain, it's the sniper rifle. For the infantry, it's an assault weapon. That's the only thing it really gives you. Other than that, it's an outfit and a call sign. So it's not as pivotal as they make it sound, even though they're like, you need to pick this, and if you don't pick the right one, then you're done. It's just not like that. Now, as far as the actual gameplay, they need to do some fixing. Now, the actual competition itself is very clean. The play is clean. The gunplay is nice. The maps work fine. The one big complaint, and I'm sure you heard it across the board here, is that the game itself has spawn killing, and it's awful. Now, what I mean by that is it's not your typical spawn killing where you're about to spawn flip and there's one guy back there and you just haven't done it yet, and the next time you die, you flip to the other side. No, you can get pinned down in your spawn for an entire match, and you will see that it happens. You will lose games 75-20 because you can't get out of your spawn because they have 6 guys pinned down at your spawn and they cannot get out. That is incredibly frustrating. Now, I think that they're going to fix it with a patch. Some people don't have high hopes because they think it's a facet of the game, and then Call of Duty basically just says, if you can't get out, that's your problem. And I personally am not a believer of that proponent. What I do believe is that they need to get things fixed. Now, that's why I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. Now, let's go on to the 10 out of 10. Zombies. Zombies is absolutely breathtaking. There are 4 characters unlocked at the beginning, and you have the ability to unlock more as you go through. There is its own separate campaign, which is thoroughly impressive, and it also has loadouts. So loadouts are really awesome. You have supers, you have offense, you have control, you have support, and you have medic. The medic is what I typically go with because it makes you invisible for the zombies. The offense gives you the ability to not have to reload your weapon. So if you have something, there's like a 6-shooter rocket launcher in there. If you have that, it's a great time to use that offense super because you're not reloading anything. Control hits a stun to all the zombies on the map, so that way you can get around to what you got to do and you can really get your friends out of trouble. And support is, well, it is what it is. It's support. You spawn in ammo, you spawn in support items. It's pretty useful. Everything in zombies is useful because it's a deathmatch. I mean, your goal, you're never going to survive and beat zombies, The zombies gameplay is actually pretty incredible. So normally what we've experienced is your typical first 4 rounds of just zombies, and then round 5 is dogs, and then you keep going, every 5 rounds is dogs. And this has really brought in new aspects. So the power aspect does not power the entire facility, and it also adds in traps in different aspects of power. Now you're going to see the power is these little vents that you have to open up to get the steam to go into the generator to produce the power for the facility. Now, within this, when you reach your rounds, it doesn't really matter. So there's going to be speed zombies, there's going to be power zombies, there's going to be exploder zombies, and all that other fun stuff that's going off on a relatively regular basis. And that's what makes this intriguing, is that you're never really safe. You could be in round 4 and reach a bull zombie that you have to use a rocket launcher to take out. Otherwise, he's just going to be chasing you around the map because they do not die at the end of the round. They do not get killed by nukes. They do not get killed by insta-kills. So that is what makes it truly, truly, truly riveting. I am personally a big fan of the fact that in round 5, I am just as sweaty as I am in round 27. The campaign is pretty interesting. It takes you through the backstory of why you're even playing zombies, and then the PvP, it can get pretty sour and pretty salty because there's dudes who think that they're MLG zombies and they get in there. They want to know why you're not communicating with them, blah, blah, blah. But, it's not a terrifically awful experience. It's just your typical Call of Duty experience. Now, once you get the power going, the actual box only goes to 3 locations. They're all pretty easy to get to. There is one that is pinned down in a back corner that's not the most fun to be in. But usually after about 6 or 7 goes, the box will move on to a new place. And that is what happens. So that, guys, is my review of Call of Duty World War II. I definitely think it's worth a buy if you're into that kind of thing. It's not a replay value on the campaign isn't there. PvP needs to get some fix. Zombies is perfect as always, but I definitely think they're going back to the originals, and I think they're going to make it a great game. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give me a follow, subscribe, and look for me on my Twitch channel, www.twitch.tv/SeanKushri423. Have a fantastic, fantastic day, guys.